It's weird. I'm weird. There's a conversation that could have happened with their clothes on. It's horrible, but it's cool. Why do you have a crush on her? The beauty of collaboration. I watched it for the plot. I'm no longer invested in any of this. Hi guys, welcome back to another Nerd Rants video. I am in the middle of watching kind of a few series. One is a new one, so it's getting updated weekly, and the other one is out, so that's the one I'm trying to binge. But it has really, really long episodes, like hour-long episodes, and so I'm in the middle of those two things, and I haven't gotten to watch any movies really that I haven't seen already in the last week because I was in Denver over Christmas. Well, not Denver, but like around in the Denver area over Christmas with my mom's side of the family, and so I was with people pretty much 24/7. And so I didn't get to do a whole lot of watching stuff. And so, yeah. Instead, as kind of the last Nerd Rants of 2023, we're going to do kind of a wrap-up video. And since, I review everything that I finished and I liked or absolutely hated throughout the year, we're going to talk about all my series, movies, whatever, mostly series, that I did not finish. Yep, we're going through my 2023 DNF list, guys. Here we go. Yeah. Some of these I made a season in, I made a few seasons in. One or two of them I didn't even make it through the first episode. So those ones will just be quick mentions. But yeah, try and talk a little bit about why I didn't finish it or why I lasted as long as I did. But yeah, here we go. We're probably gonna start with I have one on here that I didn't make it through the first episode. There's a few. We'll say two because there's one I remember off the top of my head. There's only one that I have on here that I actually typed out. So there's, two that I can remember that I got partway through the first episode and decided, nope, not interested, not into this. The first one is The Spanish Princess. I got like 5 minutes into that first episode and was not getting intrigued at all. And I don't know, it didn't hook me in any way, and there was nothing happened. And I know that sounds awful, the first 5 minutes, but like a lot of times with a show, even if it's just the first 5 minutes, something hooks me in. Either something interesting that they said, an interesting way that a character acts, or something about the introduction of the plot that makes me interested, and there was nothing of that. Maybe it's because it's a historical fiction show of some kind, and it just I don't know. It was very much tied to from the sound of what the plot was. It was very tied to the life of, was it Catherine of Aragon? The first wife of Henry the VIII. Yes, Henry the VIII. And yeah, nothing hooked me, and so I didn't make it that far into the first episode. This other one that I didn't make it past I didn't even make it through the first episode was Black Sails. It's a pirate show of sorts. It looked interesting. All the stills that I saw and whatever else. Like I'm totally down for a pirate show. Totally down for a pirate show, but I think I got 20 minutes to half an hour. Probably 20 minutes into the first episode. It was about a 50-minute first pilot episode, and I don't know. I couldn't do it. I didn't like it. There was so much language, which really doesn't bother me a whole lot. I have an internal filter. Like sometimes I don't even register the fact that someone said a swear word in a movie. It just goes in, and then I auto filter it. But there was just so much. It seemed like, I get it. People swear. I know. I'm a weird person that I don't swear. I'm almost incapable of swearing, it feels like sometimes. Like, I can't, unless I am talking about, like, where a swear word came from, the actual meaning of the word, I really don't say it. I don't say it. It's weird. I'm weird. I know. It's so strange. I just don't swear. And so, yeah. I know it's normal. I know other people do it. I know the amount of swearing in the first episode of Black Sails really isn't all that weird. But, yeah, whatever. It wasn't really the main reason that I didn't get into it. We also had, like, was it 1 or 2 nude scenes in the first 20 minutes of the first episode, and I was like, why? Why do we have to do this? I had a whole rant about it in my Pillars of the Earth video. Link that one somewhere. But, like, why do we feel the need to add it to a show? It doesn't necessarily add anything to the story or the character. We can imply it. We can always imply it, and that, you know, adds that sense of it. Or you can, you know, half show it. Like, oh, the start of them, like, taking off a shirt or whatever and then going into bed, and then we cut it off. We don't need to see all the rest of it. You really don't. It's not necessary. It's just gross and weird. And it gives it gives me very uncomfy feelings about the whole concept of that in general. So that's a fun thing. It's not. It's really not a fun thing. It is not a fun thing to have to sift through shows and movies and whatever else to find something that is good. That doesn't necessarily include that, or that includes 1 or 2 of those scenes and you just deal with it, or you skip them, or, you know, whatever. But it's really, really disappointing when there's a great concept or a great show and then they just throw that in there and you're like, why? This didn't need to be there. There's a conversation that could have happened with their clothes on. Just why? Why does this exist? But yeah, that was the main thing. They also immediately introduced a lesbian couple, and, you know, whatever. I've come to terms with the fact that it's in media everywhere, and sometimes it dampens my enjoyment of a show. Yep, not gonna lie. But yeah, I don't know. There were just a multitude of things, and I was like, no. I really actually, no. It's fine. It's like all the decisions that I don't understand in the media, they were all made in the show and displayed very blatantly in the first 20 minutes of the first episode. And I was like, if this is what the entire show is going to be like, no. So yeah, didn't make it through the first episodes of those 2. I made it partway through the first season of Under the Dome, which I think is based off a Stephen King novel. The concept is interesting. So there's a whole town, and I didn't make it all the way through, so I don't actually know what the explanation for the dome is. But anyway, this giant invisible dome just, like, spontaneously appears over the entire town, and forming is actually very cool because it lets us, like, slices through anything that is over the border of it, and it's completely invisible, so you just hear this big boof, and everything shakes, and then this kid looks over, and he's on a farm or whatever, and he looks over, and this cow is just standing there, and then all of a sudden the 2 halves of the cow start falling down in different directions. And it's just like, ooh, that's cool. It's horrible, but it's cool. Like a bird flies into it. Someone touches it while they're wearing metal or electronics. I don't remember which, but it just, like, burns a hole in them or something. Oh, the concept of the dome was very interesting, and it's just, the concept of the show and the plot of the show was actually very intriguing. It was really the characters that ruined it for me. Like, they weren't that interesting. They really weren't. And I don't know. There's so most, like, there's what, 6, 7 main characters. 3 of them annoyed me. And it sounds awful. And it's not because of that, but it probably didn't help. But it's a lesbian couple and their adopted daughter, or step. I don't remember how the dynamic worked. But those 3 were very, very annoying. Not because of that, but they were just annoying characters to me. I didn't like them. The most interesting character was the main boy. And then, because plot, they gave him a crush on the annoying daughter of the lesbian couple. And I was just like, no, don't ruin this character this way. Why would you do this? Like, no. Why do you have a crush on her? She's really not that likable of a person. So yeah, like, the concept of it was interesting. Like, no one can communicate between through the dome because all of the all of the radios between inside the dome and outside the dome are blocked. They can't get a signal through, and they can't talk through it. And so it's them trying to figure out how to communicate with the outside world, find a way to get rid of the dome. And it's all of that is cool, but the characters ruined it for me. Like, none of them were interesting. One of them was likable, and the rest of them were meh or annoying. I couldn't do it. I got probably close to halfway through the first season, and I was like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. The plot is not enough to save this show. The characters are just bad. Was that the last video? I think that was the last video where I had the rant about how characters can make or break a story. Yeah, that was Rebels, because I had the whole conversation about the beauty of collaboration. Probably like that one, don't you? But yeah. So yeah, Under the Dome was... yeah. It was meh. Rain. I got through the first season of Rain. And I may or may not finish this one. It was actually a very intriguing historical fiction show. I was pretty into it, but I got to the end of season 1. I started season 2, and then I got hooked on another show and I haven't gone back to it. And so as of this year, I haven't finished it, but I may or may not go back to it because it was intriguing and I do kind of want to see what happens with that. And there were characters that I liked. And it has freaking Anna Popwell, who doesn't show up in it. She's not in a lot of things. She's Susan in Narnia. I don't remember the name of her. She's a soldier girl in the Halo movie. And then in this. That's the 3 things I've seen her in, which is really sad because she's a good actress. So I want to see what happens with that and I want to get into it. I just haven't. So yeah. Next year maybe I'll get a huge kick of motivation and I'll just binge the rest of it because it's 5 seasons and I think all the seasons are 22 episodes, and so that makes it harder too because it's one of those older shows where the seasons are longer, whereas a lot of newer shows have shorter seasons, so it's easier to get through them, and it's nice to be able to get through something quicker so that I can make a video on it. But yeah, time commitments are very, very hard. But yeah, so maybe I'll get to that one. But it was good. I love Nostradamus. I don't know why, but I love Nostradamus. He was just great. I loved him so much. But yeah, the characters are actually very great. Wow. Speaking is difficult. The characters were actually very great. I love Bash. Bash is also a great character. There is a little bit of the fun scenes. Yeah, but it's more implied, which it's done the way that I would love them to do. Every single one of those kinds of scenes in any movie is the most they do is, oh, we got to the bed, and it implies that we did it, and then we skip to the next morning. and they're laying in bed. And that's all I needed to see of that. I know what they're doing. You don't need to show me what they're doing. Just ugh. I don't want to see that. I really, 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 really don't want to see that. So yeah, they do a good job with that, where they just imply it or they show up to it and then skip. So I appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll get into that one again. The rest of right now, actually, we should start with that one, and then we'll go into the two things that I did multiple seasons of. So the next one I made it through the first season of is Jessica Jones. I watched it for the plot. Yes, Kilgrave is the plot. Kilgrave is very much the plot. David Tennant is great. I love David Tennant. And him playing a mind-controlling villain is just wonderful. I loved it. He did so good as Kilgrave. He carried that entire season. He carried the first season and the entire show. It was great. I didn't really care about Jessica or her relationship with whatever Iron Fist's actual name is. I didn't care about it. Whatever. It was a meh relationship. The twin siblings that lived above her are weird and kind of gross. I don't know what they were trying to I don't know what they were trying to communicate with that in that relationship, but whatever. Also, her neighbor friend who Kilgrave manipulated into spying on her and who Kilgrave got hooked on drugs. He's great. Him and Kilgrave carried the entire first season, and I have no idea about the other two because I don't know if I will. I don't know. Kilgrave's dead. Kilgrave is dead. That leaves only one reason for me to watch the rest of the show, and I get the feeling he's not going to play a massive role because he and Jessica had a little bit of a falling out of sorts, and so again, the characters rant. They make or break a show. Sometimes I watch a show specifically for a character, and so then if they get killed off or they leave the show or whatever for whatever reason, it makes me really, really sad, and I just stop. So yeah, Jessica Jones, main character, pretty much every other main character, meh. Kilgrave, wonderful. Her neighbor friend, wonderful. Will I finish the show? I have no idea. I have a feeling probably not. But yeah. On the topic of watching a show specifically for one character, Supergirl. I mentioned this in the Rebels video. I watched 3 seasons. Actually, no, that was Superman and Lois. I watched 3 seasons of Supergirl. Specifically for Winn. Winn and Mon-El. They were the only reason that I watched Supergirl. Because I'm a Jeremy Jordan fan. He's great. His voice is just absolute insanity, and he's a very fun person. So, I wanted to see what this Winn character was all about. Also, I watched through The Flash, and we get, the musical episode, and he shows up. I'm just like, yes, I need to see this. Who was Winn? What is this character? It must be great because Jeremy Jordan's playing him, and he was great, and he was awesome, and he was the only reason that I made it through 3 seasons of that show. Yeah, I was like, oh, whatever. It's probably I don't know, actually. The vibe-wise, honestly, it's the gayest of all 3 of the Arrowverse shows I've watched. I don't know. It has that feel to it. and I didn't really like any of the characters. And then there was when he was the saving grace. I'm like, yay, maybe I can make it through season 1. Made it through season 1. Then season 2, Mon-El shows up. I'm like, yay, 2 reasons for me to watch the show. There's hope. Maybe. Made it through season 2. He gets forced off the planet because the atmosphere's full of lead. I'm like, oh, yay, I'm back to 1 reason to watch this show. Got into season 3. The concept of that was, it's like some of the plot things were interesting, sort of. Anyway, into season 3. Mon-El shows back. I'm like, yay, my other reason to watch the show. He was a little bit different, but it was fine. It was still Mon-El. I don't agree that they ruined his character when they brought him back. I know there are some people out there who believe that. But yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. I was just like, yay, they're back. My 2 favorite people. The only 2 people that I really like in this entire show. And then they both left at the end of season 3. I'm like, well, I have no reasons left to watch the show. So I started the first episode of season 4, very depressed because my characters were gone. And I was right. There was no reason left for me to watch the show. So I didn't. I stopped it in the middle of the first episode of season 4 and went, nope, I'm done. It didn't help that in the first 10 minutes, they introduced one of the new main characters and just right out of the gate said, nope, I'm a trans woman. I went, no. So yeah, I made it through 3 seasons of probably the gayest Arrowverse show because of Win and because of Mon-El. And I am completely satisfied having not watched the rest of the series because I don't give a crap about anyone else in the show. Yeah. The other one I didn't finish, but I made it through like 3 seasons of, was Titans. I made an entire video about the first 3 seasons of Titans. It was okay. It wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting it to be when I started it. Like, the casting for most of it was okay. For most of them were okay. A lot of the choices with like their appearance was like, what the heck, why? Deathstroke's always great. The fact that we got live action Jason Todd doing things and that was kind of fun. And Red Hood, that was interesting. But yeah. Season 4 just... What the heck was season 4? I didn't finish it. I didn't. I have no desire to. What the heck was happening? Like, we got White Raven, but she looked kind of dorky. I don't know what was happening. We got Lex Luthor style Superboy, which I hate. I hate bald Superboy. I hate him leaning into his Luthor side. Like, no, it's just not right. I don't know what is happening. I have no clue what was happening in that entire couple episodes that I watched. I just, no. I feel like they were trying to lead into Brother Blood, I think is what was happening. But like, what, I don't know what on earth was happening. And the last episode I watched, there was some sort of weird flash and they all got teleported somewhere. And some sort of weird fantasy land from what I gather from the thumbnail of the next episode that I saw, which... I was just like, no, I'm no longer invested in any of this. What the heck is happening? I don't like it. I don't understand. I just... yeah. I don't know what happened with Titans. I was just like, no, why? What have you done? The show was already a bit mediocre and meh, but like... I stopped questioning how their shows could get worse because I know it's always possible if The Flash is any evidence of that. But yeah, I was just like, what on earth? What are we doing, guys? Oh man. So yeah, I think that's all of them. Yeah, there's not a lot of shows I come across where I don't finish them. But there's also a lot of crap that I have to sift through, and so this year there was more than usual. Yeah. That's a good 7 shows, guys. That's unfortunate. It is unfortunate that there are 7 shows, so a few of which had some potential, and they just, no. They missed the mark, or they just got bad. Yep, the media is just something, guys. It's something. I still love it. I love this medium we have to tell stories on. I love the collaboration we have between artists and the creators and whatever else to create that, to make something that is potentially very, very cool. But we got money grab, this people going for money grab and whatever happening, and I'm just like, you're making me lose hope in this wonderful medium of storytelling, and it's sad. I can't watch a whole lot of shows and whatever else that come out of like a mainstream media thing. Like Disney, I've given up pretty much all hope on anything Disney. Like if it's just straight up a Disney movie, chances are I'm not going to watch it because it's either a live action remake or it's really cheesy, corny, bad original story because they can't come up with a good original idea to save their lives. I've basically given up on Marvel at this point. Like, it's so sad to say that, but like, Infinity War, the end of the Infinity Saga, great, love it. No Way Home, awesome. 1 or 2 of the shows, pretty good. Actually, close to 3, like 3 of the shows, pretty good. Everything else after Infinity Saga just and it's so sad because the franchise was so great, and then Disney bought it, and I was like, ugh. And then Star Wars, there might be hope. There might be hope for Star Wars, but I'm not gonna let myself get my hopes up too high, because who knows? The next thing might just absolutely destroy us, and I'm like, no, it would be horrible. There's hope. We got Andor. We got Ahsoka. I want more quality content like that, and yeah. Hopefully we'll get that. Hopefully. But we'll see. They could just as easily ruin both of those shows in the 2nd season. So. Yeah. That's my DNF list for 2023. I may or may not do another one of these at the end of 2024. We'll see. It depends how many shows I stop watching. Maybe I'll get a really good year and I'll watch through everything that I find. But yeah. That's all I got. Feel free to drop your thoughts on any of these shows in the comments. Did you like any of them? Did you hate any of them? Have you watched any of them all the way through? Is there a very, very good reason for me to finish any of these? Feel free to drop them in the comments, along with any requests or recommendations that you have. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and I've started posting on my 2nd channel and on, hopefully, see how the scheduling and recording and all that goes, hopefully on Thursdays, and I'll see you all next time.